Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So I just want to kind of put out there, time management wise, that this is an hour and a half webinar. There's just so much dense, awesome, amazing, insightful content here. We're going to try to cover the new tools first. That way, if you didn't know about them, they're brand new. Of course, you know, most people wouldn't, other than the people who are on the beta. We want to make sure you guys see those, sign up for the betas. And then we're going to kind of go into upgrades to our existing tools. We've got a lot of really exciting things to share. And finally, we're going to talk about how to use the existing seller tools that you have, right? This is kind of everything Livia and Laura just talked about.
Yeah, and can I just chime in too with that use and apply? Everyone on this, we're going to do like a skim session of it, but please join us in office hours this month. Every Wednesday office hours is going to be a deep dive into how to use these tools, how to answer questions, how to really get into the meat of what we're just skimming today.
Livia, office hours. How do I find that? How do I show up to that? Tell me what to do.
Well, Pam just added it under events. So if you go to our Ylopo group and you click on events, you will see the link right there. If you don't find it for any reason, ping your Rockstar account managers. They will make sure that that link gets added to your calendar, but don't miss it. It is like, it sets my business every week. It's well worth attending.
Barry, I will ask you a favor. We know that it's in the events section, right, in the events page, but Barry, I'll ask you a favor. Just create an announcement as well. Reminder for office hours, critical office hours coming up, the link, all that kind of stuff. That'd be fantastic.
Yep.
And I think a great practice too for team leads, agents out there, but really even just on the team leads, man, as you're onboarding and as we all should be training and sharpening our tools every week, just make that a recurring event, right? The first time you get it, just put it on your calendar as a recurring event. It's 1 hour. It's different every week. It's organic. We don't go in with set scripts or topics. It's just organic. And we're in there role playing back and forth, ideas, sharing tips, tricks. It's not CRM specific. It's all Ylopo and how to then tie it into the tools you're using. So, man, I would just make that a recurring event every week. If you have something over it, like office hour or your own like office meetings or something like that, either move that or make that part of your meetings and let us help you and hear from everybody around the country sharing what they're doing that works. And it's not even just us, which is a lot of knowledge, but man, the users coming in there doing things that we haven't even heard of, it's incredible. So it is well worth your time to get in there.
And are you guys doing a lot of visual stuff as well on the office hours?
Nonstop. It's like not just talking about it. We get in there and show them how, from Barry showing workflows, Laura, Livia, and they're getting in and talking about these seller tools that we're going to highlight today that have been updated, getting in there showing smart lists. We talked about pixels yesterday and how to add it on, which was awesome. We started getting calls again last night from it. So it's literally hands-on, showing you and then providing you the tools or the resources where to continue and go further. So, and
for entry level, we even do role playing. So, you know, if you have any question, get in there, throw it at us. If we don't know, there is someone, a Ylopo user, that has phenomenal ideas.
Well, I've heard very, just in the last week, from the likes of like Tom Ferry and a lot of other, you know, really high level luminaries in our space. And they're like, you guys have the best, most active user community like on the planet. It's, you know, like our Ylopo success community. I mean, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I used to be like, oh my God, it's crickets. How do we get this going? And now it's just like, you know, I'm not even in there. I mean, it's just going, and people helping and people sharing and people asking questions. And the office hours, we want to keep, you know, even, you know, thinking about other ideas to expand that. So yeah, it's awesome. If you're not checking out the Ylopo success community once every 48 hours, you're missing out. That's for sure. Or maybe even once a day. You're absolutely missing out. That's how you quote, dig in. To you know, do more deals with us, you have to dig in. That's office hours, success community, and the webinar. And let's go. We got a lot to cover. Let's do it.
Awesome. Let's do it. So on to the new. So the first new thing I want to talk to you guys about, and it is new in the sense that we have never talked about this publicly on a webinar before, but we have already had 150 plus live clients testing out our Seller PPC 2.0. Now, I'm going to walk you guys through exactly what we're doing that's different about the Seller PPC. But what I'll tell you is that, you know, in terms of generating pure seller leads, like these are actual listings, there's no other way to do it at scale other than through PPC, right? So bidding on keywords of people looking for homes, what's my home worth, sell my home fast, what's market trends in my area. These are actual seller intent, seller intents, right? Coming from search keywords. We have definitely seller lead generation on the social side, and a lot of our clients do it. The challenge with social, as you guys all know, is that these are top of the funnel sellers, right? And so in terms of getting the business today, seller PPC is basically the only pure source. Now, I'm going to talk about a second thing, right after seller PPC, of another new way for you to generate seller leads that is really, really promising. But the bread and butter is going to be seller PPC, right? And, the challenge with seller PPC is that the average cost per click, just someone typing in what's my home worth in, say, Los Angeles or in Louisville and clicking on that search term, that costs you $5 just for that one click, right? And we're converting that lead when they come into our experience at over 10%. So your cost per lead is, south of $50 on average. But $50 is very expensive, right? Compared to a buyer lead that is $5 to $8, it's 10x more, right? So, there's consideration you have for doing seller lead generation on PPC, because you might be able to tease out more sellers from buyers, right? And, I'm sure the rest of the team here will talk to that. But that's the downside of seller PPC. It is significantly more expensive, right? But you can see from the stats here, lead breakdown in terms of what people are actually looking for when they fill out our form and register to become a seller lead. Almost 30% of them say that they are interested in selling their home for top dollar, right? That's a really big percentage of all of these all of these leads coming in. That's indicative of the fact that they're sellers. And then a further 10% of those people say they need a refinance, right? So 1 out of 10 of the leads that you're getting from the seller experience are actual lender leads. And so it is totally fine. And in fact, I think your lenders would be pleased for you to co-market with them on seller lead generation as well, right? So I wanted to point that out for you guys.
I think that's a huge point, Jay. I want to jump in there because you mentioned these are significantly more expensive, and I want to put some context to that. They are more expensive if you're looking lead to lead on buyer, but a couple different things. I hear a lot of times agents say, hey, I just don't think I could get a lender to partner with me to do this. This should be the easiest way for you to approach a lender. They're going to be getting business that even you're not getting on these refinance, but they're literally coming in. But even at $50 versus a 5 or 10, a good chunk of these are twofers, right? They're selling and possibly buying, or even if they're relocating, it's a referral. So yes, they're more expensive. So it's gonna go through your budget faster, but really put context to that when you're looking at your P&L and where your money's going and what's coming from it, to understand the potential return on it for what you're getting. And I know we're going to get into scripting and stuff, but initially just in the last week, we just got up and running on this and stuff. I'm getting more people answering the phone. So they're still top of funnel, but I think it's a different search phrase that they're going in. So I think it's a little bit higher quality. And I love the fact you have the stat, the 28 and 10, because, and I'm going to say it. I was going to share my script that we're going into, and I think it makes it really easy, but we have a slide for that. So I'll stop.
Well, and also I want to say this too, there's return on investment. Seller leads are going to cost a little bit more than buyer leads, but there's also a return on time investment. And think about, we were just talking about our buyer's agents are running around showing 30 homes, making 6 and 7 offers. And there's return on time investment as well. We know if we can get that listing, it's going to sell quickly. And we're going to generate more buyer leads off of the listing. I think the national stats are 2.5 buyer transactions per listing that you have. So if we're just looking side by side, I think we're comparing apples to oranges. I think the investment here is going to be better money well spent.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, again, this is not like a small beta, right? Like we are opening it up to everyone who wants to sign up for it, but we already have 150 clients on it. So I think that speaks to the fact that this is, more or less proven. And the only reason it's still in beta is because, frankly, we want to work out some more kinks and provide even more tooling around it, right? So let me take you guys through what the experience looks like and why, this is, in my opinion, the best home valuation, seller lead generation experience that's out there, right? So top of the waterfall, the way that consumers become a seller lead for you is through PPC looking for a keyword like what's my home worth, right? And the advertisements they're going to see is something along the lines of get a free home value estimator, how much is my home worth, et cetera, right? Now, when it comes to seller lead generation, the secret is not in what keywords you're bidding on or necessarily what's in your ad copy. And it's because instead of being able to bid on like someone looking in XYZ subdivision or someone looking in XYZ neighborhood and then fan out and have 3 million of those keywords, which is what we do on the PPC buyer side, the number of keywords people use to look for sellers is very limited. They're going to type in, they're not going to type in what's my home worth in 90292. They're going to say, what's my home worth, right? So there's a limited tight list of keywords that everyone is using when they're generating seller leads. And it's not just agents, by the way. This is the same list that Open Doors uses, that all of the instant offer guys use as well, right? So the key to converting these leads from clicks into opportunities for you guys is the landing page experience. It is what are we displaying to the potential seller that is going to get them to register, and then more important than that, post-registration, give them something of value so they want to have a discussion with you, right? So they want to feel like it's not a bait and switch, because we've all seen it before, this concept of fill out this form and then I'll email you with a CMA, and in reality, it's just a simple landing page that provides no value to the consumer and they get pissed off, right? So what's different about our landing page experience, you guys can see it right here, is our integration with Homebot, right? Now, Homebot was released last year. We're going to go deep into how you utilize it and why you should utilize it. But I'll say that one of the reasons we did this major integration and then bought Homebot for all of our clients is because we believed it is the best possible bait to attract sellers in terms of the value we provide, right? So we lead with when you get your home worth, home value, you are going to get all of this additional value from your Homebot report, right? And so when a consumer puts in their address, we will capture their phone number right away. We will capture their full name and email address. We will ask them a couple of qualifying questions. And at the end of this process, they become a submitted lead for you, right? And once they become a lead, and by the way, these people are converting 1 out of 10 completing the entire form, right? Coming into your experience. That's incredibly high when it comes to this type of lead or landing page. But what I think is so special about it is that once someone actually registers, we send them directly into the Homebot experience. So they see their actual Homebot report. By the time you talk to this person, they will already have seen the rich Homebot report that we sent them. And as a reminder, with Homebot, what you're getting is not just the value of the home, which by the way is highly accurate because it's from Black Knight, which is used by a lot of appraisers out there. It's one of the gold standards. But in addition to that, they know all of your loan data, right? So they can tell you what is the net worth of your home, what happens when you refinance, how much equity do you have to buy a new home, all of these incredible stats, which you'll see the engagement numbers. It's pretty crazy, right? But all of this rich data to the consumer, this is what's going to make the conversation after the fact so sticky, because they have already received so much value from the experience, right?
What's really cool about this too, you're talking about that engagement as we're doing this, almost like when you're watching Raiya engage with somebody, you're seeing those messages come into the CRM. We've seen these leads come in, and as we're just kind of looking at their address or whatever to reach out and make the call, all of a sudden then the notifications coming in, they're engaging on this Homebot. So it's really cool too with this integration, how it's updating right into your system that they're engaging with this as it's happening. It's really slick.
100%. Yeah. And once the leads gets generated, we send all the details into your CRM, right? You see it as a no, you see it as a Ylopo seller lead, all of those details. But what's nice is that within about a couple of hours, we will start sending them a seller alert, right? So we're going to do seller alerts and we're going to do seller remarketing. Now, what's great about the seller alert, and by the way, it defaults to a weekly alert, and then it turns into monthly. If they don't open, you can do bi-weekly. You can have a lot of settings on the back end of Stars. But what's nice about the seller alert is it's not just about the home value, right? If you just license Homebot by itself, if you licensed another CMA type product, like, Market Snapshot as an example, you just the consumer gets a link and they see their home value every single time, right? Which is, after a while, not going to be not as compelling. We actually send out a dynamic alert that contains the estimated value of their home, their latest market trends in their area, and then running recently sold, under contract, and active listings. So we pack a really big punch in just the emails that we send out.
And
sorry, go ahead, Barry.
Ladies first.
Okay, thank you. The one thing I think that a lot of our users are missing out on is they didn't understand what the seller alert had in it. So I'm glad you're showing this. Again, like G just said, it's not just that they're getting this report that's really awesome and cool, but it's a continued experience for them that gets updated on a regular basis. And you've got Raiya helping as the safety net. You've got all the remarketing going on. So, sometimes people ask me, should I get Homebot or should I use it within Ylopo? I'm telling you, within what this stuff is doing is helping you to nurture and bring this lead. It's bringing this lead up to the top of the surface for you. So that was my 2 cents worth. But a lot of people have asked me about what's in the seller report. So I'm glad you brought this up, G.
Absolutely.
And then that was a great point, Laura. And then I was just going to say, when we were designing this and the search site, we were driven with this thought that everybody's kind of doing the same thing. And with homeowners, we really needed to be forward thinking and really focus on their needs, what interests them. And I think we nailed it. And we've combined the best of Homebot and the best of Ylopo. And when you examine a lot of the popular online portals that have these great seller nurturing tools like Redfin and some others, ours actually is more compelling and it has a better design. So I anticipate that these seller alerts, and we're going to show you how to add someone to them because it's not going to be annoying anymore. It's going to be super easy. I anticipate that the engagement on this is going to be through the roof. And so as a Ylopo customer, as a Ylopo agent, I want homeowners coming to me. And that's what this is enabling you to do.
100%. Hey, and G, I saw there was a great question. I saw you answered it in chat, G, but I'd love, just in case people missed it. Kip, you mentioned 1 out of 10 are converting and going all the way through. Somebody asked, well, hey, what happens with those other 9? What is Ylopo doing with those? So I'd love for you to answer that because I think it's really important for them to know.
Yeah. Well, you beat me to the punch here because that's the next slide. Yeah. So what's great about Ylopo is anyone that is not registering, as well as the people who are registering, basically anyone who's a seller in your database, period, right, is going to get retargeted to. And, on the remarketing side, when we reach out to sellers, what we're doing that's different is instead of showing them properties that are active on the market they can purchase, we create that FOMO element, right? And this is very much, Professor Barry's idea. We will actually show them properties that have recently sold that are similar to theirs, right? So it's an extremely compelling dynamic ad that always changes, it's always changing, right? And what's nice about it is from a click-through rate perspective, it's, very good. It's basically half of what, normal remarketing looks like, which for sellers is fantastic, right? So, we are definitely reaching both sides of that.
Awesome.
And I'm just going to say, if you have not signed yourself up to see what the experience is as a consumer, just try it out, put your name, put your address in. You're going to be blown away by how personal this report is and how it really does position you and your brand as an expert because it's far surpassing other information they can get online.
100%. Yeah. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you guys right after this, in a little later, because we're going to bring back this landing page and, home values again. I'm going to show you how to access this on your side and how you can, even if you don't do seller PPC, you can use this, kind of new landing page. So, you know, exactly like Livia just said, you know, once we give you the URL, I welcome you all to register yourself and then see what the alerts look like, right? The caveat, and I want to do two inside baseball, is just make sure you use an email address that you've never used before with Ylopo, because if you have, you're not going to get the alert because you're already in the system, right? So just add a +155@gmail.com or something like that. Awesome. So, you know, we've got a lot to get through. So I will, you know, kind of just conclude on the seller PPC side by saying that it is still actively in beta. We are not charging you any tech fees for it today, right? We definitely will when we release this. So this is a great time while it's a seller's market to, you know, to invest in seller PPC. At least try it out, you know, see how it compares against buyers. Yes, you get less leads, but find out what the quality looks like. The caveat is the minimum budget for seller PPC is $1,000 a month, right? Why is that? Because leads are $50, right? So even $1,000 only going to get you 20 leads. That's one lead per business day. That's very little, right? And you need it to have a certain budget to be able to optimize. So we recommend a minimum of $1,000 to $1,200. And obviously you can spend more if you want to. So just go to ylopo.com/seller, fill out the form there, and my marketing team will, you know, set you up on the seller beta. And if you want a phone call, they can call you and reach out to you about, you know, how it works and give you more examples and all that good stuff. So that's new thing number one I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Real quick, let me jump in really fast. There are a bunch of questions coming in, guys. Keep them rolling. I'm monitoring those. If we know they're on the slides, I'm going to hold off till we get to that slide just for time, because we do have a lot. So don't.
I wondered why I was answering all of them.
I've just been like, yeah. So don't worry. We will get to you if it's in the slide. We just want to be cognizant of time. Yeah. Sorry, G, go for it.
Yeah, please. Take it away, guys.
Well, and G, with the seller PPC leads, I've moved a lot of my budget over to this, because when I turned it on, we've been on 3 listing appointments, and as a result, and we're listing one of them, I think in the next few days, and we're getting way less leads. So I actually did a panel discussion with my team. I said, look, guys, these are $50 a pop. You're going to get 5x less opportunities if we do this. You know, and I've never done that before, because it's my money, right? Like, I'm not going to talk to them about, you know, but this was a complete change in trajectory. And I realized not everybody's going to have the same results as we did. I'm still waiting for it to stop. Like, I'm kind of like, this is amazing. And so just wanted everybody to know that I'm seeing positive results already from it. And then I'm taking the refi leads and I'm making a big deal to my lender. Mm-hmm. How many realtors are generating refi leads for their lender? I've had my lender partnership for 10 years with the same lender, and the amount they give me is way more than most. It's very, very high, under RESPA guidelines, of course, and it's because I'm adding value back to my lender. So just a lot of opportunity with this to come at sellers and homeowners differently than before.
Yeah, and it's key that it's remembered too in teams that when you're paying for these, it's a higher price point. But remember, you're getting sellers that are talking about selling their house. You have to be ready to respond quickly to these folks. You have to be ready to engage. And not to keep plugging office hours, but that's something we're really going to talk about, is a scripting of that. Like, how do you respond quickly? What should you be saying? And we'll get into some of that in a little bit too.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same. In the interest of time, you know, there's a lot of coaching that I think can be done about working these leads and, you know, the script, the mindset, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, please attend office hours and they will share all of that with you, and you can ask questions and role play and do all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's where we can do a deep dive and really get into your questions more in depth in office hours. So guys, come.
But before we skip, I just have to say, most sellers don't like selling their home. Don't call them excited about selling their home. They're not excited about selling their home. We call and we ask them, did you get the report? Did it make sense? Then we dangle the seller report. Would you like a list of buyers? If they say yes, we try to get an appointment to shrink their honey-do list. That's what we're doing. That's how we're getting in front of the people. And when we shrink their honey-do list, because the market's amazing, you don't have to fix this, their timeline organically sped up. And so that's how we're taking people that didn't think they were going to sell and starting to move them down the pipeline. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that's a huge, I'm sorry, I know you want to move on to, that's a huge point. Barry and I were talking about this yesterday, and it was something I was doing, but I didn't think about the way he described it as that mindset, but going into it more from an admin type call, because you don't know what the situation is. I think that's a huge takeaway. So I'm glad you shared.
I've always taught with this type of lead, it's a customer service call, and that's how we approach it.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. And like I said, we'll cover some more of this stuff as we go as well. So the second new thing I want to talk about here, and, we've got a couple hundred clients obviously on this webinar. This is something where I want you guys to pay attention. And, I would like to see every one of you sign up for this in the next week or so, because it is the biggest Google release by far they've had for the real estate industry, maybe ever, and it's a really big deal. And, we've already gotten over, I think, 250, maybe even 300 people sign up on this beta. So we're ready to go to get all of you guys onboarded to this new product. And it's called Google Local Services Ads. The idea behind this is, and it's been happening in plumbing and other verticals and legal and all of these different other industries for a while now. It just hit real estate. The idea is that when you are looking for a professional on Google, instead of just letting advertisers put ads at the very top of Google around those, and you'll see, Home Life, for instance, advertising heavily on any keywords related to realtor in XYZ location, right? What Google has basically said is, why don't we go out there and we actually vet the real estate agent, and then we give them the opportunity to be highlighted at the top of Google when someone's looking for their profession. And we will show these people as Google screened, meaning Google has qualified this person as a legitimate provider of these services and a high quality provider of these services. And you get to appear with your face at the very top of Google for keywords like realtor in Santa Monica, top agent in Beverly Hills. I mean, the juiciest of the juicy keywords, right? And there's like so many benefits to this program, but I'd say like just how powerful from a branding perspective is it to show up as one of the top 3 faces when a consumer is typing in, top realtor in XYZ location, right? So I don't know what agent would not want to be featured here. And what's great about it is that being featured here is not going to cost you any money. I'll explain to you why that is in a second. Now, with LSA ads, there's only 3 people that can show up at the top at any given time. And optimizing to show up at the very top is very important. We'll talk about some of those learnings in a second. But from a consumer perspective, what happens is once they see one of these 3 options, when they click on that option, it will open up into a profile of that particular agent. And it's going to show them a lot of information about this agent, how many years they've been in the business, et cetera, et cetera. But the most important thing is that the call to action to the consumer in this entire screen is click to call, right? So, 100% basically of the leads we are generating for our clients today as part of this beta are inbound phone calls, right? So these are people looking for top realtor in Santa Monica and then picking you as an agent and then calling you. I mean, how crazy is that, right? Like I think that's probably better opportunity than a Zillow Connect lead, right? And so it's an incredibly, attractive opportunity. And we're going to talk to you about obviously how to sign up and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, being a Google screen provider is not just about signing up. You have to go through a qualification process, right? That qualification process involves you showing that you have proof of insurance, which is either your insurance or your insurance from your broker. It requires you to do a license check and also a full background check through Google's background check provider. Right. So end to end to go from, setup to live can take about a month. right? Now we have an agency relationship with Google, so we have actual direct Google support, and so we can probably get you partially live in about a week or two, and then once your background check comes in, you become, you know, fully Google screened and more likely to show up at the very top of Google, right? So you know, again, very compelling user experience. Now, you know, the reason I'm so excited about LSA, especially today, right now, right? This product just released at the end of December. So you guys are first to market here, right? Like 60 days of launch of this product, you guys can be live. And I'm telling you, every agent in the country is probably going to do this. And right now there's less than 1% that have, right? The reason it is so powerful right now is that it is a high quality lead and it comes at a low cost, right? Which is, anytime you hear that, you know, it's cha-ching, right? It's a high quality lead because it is an inbound phone number, right? So you are not chasing the lead. I mean, average lead, Raiya's texting them 12 times, you're calling them 6 times, you hire an ISA. It's an expensive proposition and time consuming proposition just to follow up with that lead. None of that here. These are all inbound leads, right? The second is that these are high intent prospects with shorter timeframes, right? Because they proactively search for a high search intent related to real estate keyword and then inbound called you, right? So what we've heard is that the time frame is very short. These are urgent leads. And the last thing is that our feedback so far is that pretty much all of these leads are either sellers or they're out of town buyers, right? Because why does someone go to the point where they're looking for a realtor? You know, if they're looking for a home to buy, chances are they're actually going to look for homes for sale, right? So you know, I mentioned before, steady stream of sellers. The seller PPC 2.0 is the sure thing. You're going to get seller leads from that, right? But with LSA, you have an opportunity to get seller leads as well. So it's another reason that you need to sign up for this. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, low cost, right? So the reason this is so low cost is, first, Google actually only charges you when someone makes an inbound phone call to you that lasts more than 30 seconds, right? So when you show up at the very top of Google and someone doesn't click on your photo or clicks on your photo and doesn't call you, you don't pay Google, right? Now that's a crazy concept because on Google AdWords, when I'm bidding on homes for sale in Los Angeles, every single time that consumer clicks on that ad, I get charged, you know, 50 cents, $1, $5, whatever that number is, right? Google
Even if it doesn't go to a lead, just to be clear, make sure everybody gets that. Just a click, that doesn't mean they register. You paid for that click.
You paid for that click. If they register, great. If they don't register, you know, you're out of luck, right? With LSA, you're actually paying for the phone call, right? So that's number one. And by the way, right now, because it's not as competitive, you're paying for leads that are $25 to $35 instead of $50 to $100, right? Which is where I think it's going to go in the future. Yeah. The second thing that is just mind-boggling when it comes to LSA is that they will actually refund you for leads that are irrelevant, like looking for a plumber or electrician or property taxes, or they're out of your area that you've designated, right? So again, let me relate this to buyer lead gen on PPC. If I generate 10 leads, you're going to get 1 to 3 of them that are renters. Nothing I can do about it. Someone types in homes for sale in Los Angeles, is a renter, and registers on the website for whatever reason. They've already clicked on your ad. Google's already charged you, right? So your lead quality is going to be hit by the percentage of leads that are irrelevant to you, but you're still paying for it, right? On Google LSA, we actually, on the back end, you know, our Ylopo team, we listen to every single phone call that is being made through LSA. We have a whole team in the Philippines doing this, and we actually get you the calls that are irrelevant refunded to you, right? So that 30% of bad leads that you were paying for in buyer PPC, you're not paying for in LSA, right? So that instantly increases the lead quality. So all the people that are on this webinar, you know, you need to be registered for this. You know, it is very important. Now, you may not get a lot of leads, right? There's not a lot of people looking for realtor in Minneapolis or whatever city, right? Some cities you get a ton of leads. We have one client that got 180 phone calls last month. Now they were in a huge number of areas, but that's a lot of calls, right? So we'll talk about the stats around that in a second, but highly recommend all of you guys register. Just go to ylopo.com/LSA. There is, I wouldn't say a minimum budget for this, but I'd say the smallest budget I would recommend is $300. If you want to try to spend more, go ahead. You can put it in the LSA form. But our average spend per client is probably around $200, maybe something like that, right? So it's not a crazy high number. So you can start at a lower dollar figure if you wanted to, and then inch your way up from there, right? If you want to. The other thing is that we do charge a $200 setup fee for this. That's because it takes us 3 to 5 hours to actually set a client up. So, that just basically pays for all of our costs there. And this is, once again, in beta, right? So that means this is a great time to participate. We're not charging any additional fees for it. There's no tech platform fees for it. We just want as many of our clients on this opportunity as possible right now. And, we are building out a host of tools around LSA that will be released in a couple of months here that will make it even better. But right now, let's just get you live on LSA so that you can kind of start getting phone calls. It's a huge opportunity for sellers.
Hey, the link's not working. Ylopo.com/LSA.
Hey,
and
Hey, G, we also should be very clear. Like, we're just trying to get everybody on as much as possible because it's literally a land grab right now. But there will be a small monthly charge for it at some point. So with full disclosure, you really should mention that.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, and
yeah,
I was just going to say in 20
today, but we definitely will.
Yeah. In 20 years, this reminds me of when I was a market dominator in Yelp, and Yelp now sends the lead to 3 agents. And so they've diluted the opportunities because they haven't been getting as much. But back then, you would get somebody that would read your profile, and it'd be a come over and list my house call, and those have stopped. But in 20 years, I have never had the amount of calls where people are calling and having not only a specific need but wanting an appointment. Never seen anything like it. I think we've sold 6 listings already in 30 days. As a result of this product. I mean,
probably
it's
for like $1,000, right? Like just a crazy number.
Well, now my budget's really high, right? My budget's like 8,000, but they didn't produce enough calls.
Yeah, there's just not enough calls. Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to comment on G real quick, just on the budget. Just think about this. How you're spending money as well. I mean, this is about as close as to a guaranteed inbound person talking real estate as you can get. So this makes sense to really look at and make budget for it. Because again, you're only paying for it if you get that call. So this is a great way to supplement, your other lead gen. And I mean, the best 2 buyers you can have is obviously leads you can have as a seller. And if you ask me, an out-of-state buyer. I was just training this yesterday. They're the most loyal buyers you can have because they're relying on you to guide them and welcome them and be their advocate in an area they're not familiar with, versus somebody who's just going to, use agents throughout the city. So to me, those are the best 2 types of leads you can get: seller and out-of-state buyer. And when I first saw that and I heard G's talking about it, I'm like, really, out-of-state buyers? It's happening. There's another one again yesterday coming in from Albuquerque. They need to know an agent. They want to find somebody that they know, like, and trust, and they trust Google at the beginning. Now they're trusting the reviews. Then they call in. It's fantastic.
One thing I want to touch on, G, on the operational side of this, if you've got a team or whether you're a standalone agent, Google, I believe, G, you told me, tracks whether we pick that phone call up or not.
Yeah.
So, and I had some questions on with a team that I was on earlier today about, they had the calls all going to the team leader who doesn't have time to catch them all. So be sure you decide ahead of time how you want to handle those inbound calls, because they do have to be answered. So whether that's a round robin with a phone number that you distribute to whomever the agent is on duty that day, but you need to think about when these calls come in, how are we going to make sure that someone is picking up that phone?
And be ready for a true oh, sorry, Olivia.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying, when you think about top of funnel versus these folks, they tend to be sellers because sellers are tactile, right? They want to research and know. When they pick up the phone, they're a lot more bottom of funnel. They want to have a conversation, and Google is making sure that we're picking up the phone and talking to them. So when you're thinking these folks, you have to have a system in place because they are ready to have, they're initiating the conversation with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna raise my hand. I screwed up on the first one that I answered, because we have our team leads on there, and it came in. I set up the call and I answered it. Didn't really think about it, and I can't remember. I think it said, "Hi, looking for Carla or Cheyenne," whatever. It threw me so off because it was such a personal calling in. Asked for somebody like they felt like they knew who they were. It threw me off, and I thought we set something wrong up in the system. And I'm like, well, can I get your name and number? I'll have her call you back. I bombed the call. I didn't actually even mean to answer it. But anyway, it is crazy that it's an inbound call of somebody that wants to talk to you and ask questions. It just seems so personal. It threw me off, and I've screwed up the first call.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of gotchas around this, right? We'll do a whole webinar around LSA in probably a month and a half or so, and we'll feature some of the things we're doing from a technical perspective, help you guys. But to echo Laura's point here, you know, Google wants you to have an north of 80% pickup rate, right? Because the worst experience they could have is someone calls 3 phone numbers from 3 photos, they all go to voicemail, and the consumer says, I'm never doing this again, right? And right now, the average nationwide for our clients is 52%. So when you don't pick up the phone, Google is going to stop ringing, right? And you're not going to show up anymore. And we saw that. Like, we had a client who had 18 calls and only picked up 3 of them. And then, you know, the next month got no calls, just got eliminated, right? Penalized by Google. So we're actually going to set up some crazy, exciting tools around that, but I will hold off on releasing it.
Yeah, don't go into it now.
I know.
Hey guys, listen, I want everybody in the audience to get rude. Gabe, I want you to get rude. Barry, I want you to get rude. Livia, Laura, get rude. What do I mean by that? So like you're talking to your significant other, your best friend, your mom, and then all of a sudden you got a Google LSA call coming in, right? And then you're like, hey, mom, I gotta I have to, and then boom, it's gone, right? So I'm just telling everybody, get rude. Just hang up on your mom, hang up on your husband, hang up on your wife. Don't even explain it to them. Catch that call so you don't ruin your rates, and then you up your rates and you get more. We're going to solve that for you guys. We are so excited. For the first time ever, we're going to do something which is going to involve, I don't want to say it, real people answering calls. I'm not going to say it, but we're going to solve this for you guys. Okay, but right now, right, as we're spinning that up,
right,
get rude.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of questions about this. How do you know it's an LSA call coming in? Unfortunately, Google doesn't have one phone number that calls you, but the phone number is always going to start with 610. That's the amount, right?
So, G, on the back, we haven't experienced that. Just
really?
So, yeah, so we're not experiencing that. We're getting actually the consumer numbers. So I think there's a lot of ways. We set up an inbox number so that it always says what it is, and we can hit multiple people.
So Gabe, that may be because you and I both are funneling those LSA calls through our follow-up boss number.
Well, so we weren't, and I think Google may have changed something, and maybe it's market, G, but I just want people to be careful with that, because we thought that, and it wasn't happening for us, so that's why we switched to the inbox. So I think they may have switched. So just be careful with that.
Yeah, it fake news. Then I mean, this product is still very new, right? So I you know, that's what we had seen in the early days, but that is the difficult part. That's why we're going to solve it for you guys, but. You know, it kind of sucks, but you got to pick up some spam calls now, right? If you sign up for LSA. And this is why a lot of clients are sending it to a distribution phone, right? So
I was just going to say, if you want a quick solution, get a number that you can send it to, that you can alert yourself. We've saved it. We got numbers. It's Google service ads. And when it comes in, I know that's what it is. And it's everyone stop, drop, and answer.
And I use call action for this. And call action, when they read the phone number, they do a data append, they try to find the name, and then whichever agent answers the call, because it distributes to all my agents, it's automatically assigned to that agent in Follow-Up Boss. So,
Yep.
I don't care if you get call action, but that's how I'm doing it, and it's worked perfectly.
Yeah, and isn't there a Follow-Up Boss way to do it too?
That's what he was just saying. Yeah, there's an inbox number that
inbox.
distributes to a bunch of numbers.
You create a number through Follow-Up Boss, and like Livia said, it's labeled LSA or Google or whatever, and you can decide who receives those calls on your team. But anyway, it's easier that way for you. Also with Follow-Up Boss, it makes it easier for you to find that number again within the system and turn it into a contact and give it the right tags and all that good stuff too.
And it records the call. I love
it
that.
records the call. Yep.
Time is of the essence. You're driving, you can talk, you know that it's all going to be recorded in the system. You can go back and have all the notes. So
exactly.
Yeah. And guys, if you have anyone who's on LSA, or even if you're not and you have questions about LSA, just email lsa@ylopo.com. That goes to our entire LSA team, and we can set up a phone call to talk to you. We can answer your questions. We can change your phone number on LSA. Like, we can do all that kind of stuff, right? So lsa@ylopo.com. And then last thing, and then we've got to move on, is reviews matter, right? Like, so if you look at the LSA ad here, what's most visible to the consumer? How many stars and how many reviews you have, right? And Google's algorithm ranks you on a couple of different things: bidding, it ranks you on response rate, like things that we can help you with. But what we can't necessarily help you with is getting automatically all these reviews set up, right? To give you guys some sense of the numbers, what we found is that if you have 0 to 50 reviews, you average 2.5 phone calls per month. Some calls, not a ton, right? If you have between 50 to 100 reviews, you jump up to almost 9 calls in a month, right? Huge jump. And these are leads that it's like, as long as you can get them, right? Like, you want 200 if you could, right? And then if you have over 100 leads, you jump up again to 16, right? So there's a logarithmic jump in the number of leads you get based on the number of reviews you get. And I'll leave it to office hours again for, everyone to brainstorm strategies around that. And, everyone has, I think, really good ideas around it. So I'll kind of leave it there.
I'll make one quick statement about getting reviews. Don't wait till the closing table. Anytime a lead says to you, wow, you just gives you a compliment, get that review while they're happy and text it to them. Please don't email it to them. Text it to them, catch them when they're happy. Don't wait till you get to the closing table.
Good point.
100%. Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to kind of go through 2 more things, and then we're going to get into the coaching piece, right? So I know that is what you guys are waiting for. So, remember the seller experience that I just mentioned with Homebot, right? Good news here. By next week, we are replacing the home values experience on your branded website with the Homebot seller experience, right? Like, we've been testing it for months now. Your home values experience before was a old experience that actually used Zestimates as the dollar figure. It was just not great. It was a temporary solution that turned into a 3-year solution, right? So we have thoroughly vetted the seller experience now. And so we're turning over all home values traffic to that experience, which means they get Homebot. It's all connected, so on and so forth. They click on the home values button, they come into the seller experience, right? Now, if you want to access your seller experience today, by I think Wednesday next week or Thursday next week, you can just click on home values on your website. For today, if you wanted to access it and start using it, it is just search.yourdomain, cvirginiabeachva.com, whatever it is, / I kept saying backslash, that was the confusion, / seller, right? That's it. And that's going to bring up your seller experience. And at this point, Gabe, I will turn it over to you, and let's talk about how to use all these wonderful tools.
Absolutely. I'm going to share with you guys real quick. Awesome. So yeah, we're going to jump right into this, start getting to the coaching aspect, giving you guys examples of what we're doing. And I know, Barry, this is I think, a template that you put together. So I'll let you start in with this one.
Yeah. So, look, Homebot has a lot of compelling dimensions to the report. In this particular email, I sent a mass email, and if I had the home address of this individual, Stephanie, it would have put, "Are you still living in Hampton Roads, ... and then their home address. In this case, I didn't have it. But, and then I ask, we can connect via phone. You know, would you like to see how much equity you have, and the number of buyers looking? And then I just provided a bit.ly link to my home value page. And I've written like 5 or 6 of these, and I'm actually creating priority alerts because the offer of equity and Airbnb rates and pay off your mortgage early calculator, refi options, you know, all this stuff. So yeah, email marketing, now you have a hook. Make sure you're using it. That's it.
I think this really ties in. I think, Livia, you mentioned, get yourself in Homebot, get that report so that you know all the tools in there, all the different screens. It's not just a, hey, your home is between 350 and 400,000. There's a ton of different screens in there that offer a bunch of insights. These are tools that we're throwing out in front of your clients, your people, you know, these opportunities. So make sure you're familiar with what's in there. It's going to make those calls that we go into when they register and when they engage much easier, because you know the value offers that are at their fingertips that they may not know are there if they just scroll or push the button to go to the left or right.
Yeah, and I like how Barry did a bit.ly link as well to the landing page. If you don't want to send the link to the landing page, do a bit.ly link, or do what we did is we bought a domain name and we just direct that domain name to that landing page. It's a way to make it feel a little more generic, not so much seller, but it's a way to capture them and their attention. I love that it says Equity Report Virginia.
Yep. Great ad. Great ad. All right, let's see. All right, so
yeah.
You got this, G?
Yeah, I'll talk about this real fast. Yeah, so, you know, Homebot is something that we released Q1 of last year. And this is definitely due to some major integration improvements that we needed to make in order for this to be more usable, that, you know, I hope to convince you guys we've fixed. But we only have about 500 of our 2,300 teams set up on Homebot right now, which is embarrassing for Ylopo, right? Like, that's our fault, you know? But the reason this should matter to you guys is for the leads that are set up on our seller alerts, they have a 65% open rate and a 20% click-through rate. This is a weekly email. This isn't a monthly or quarterly email, right? That is like ridiculous. And that's actually higher than Homebot's native open rate. Like, they have about a 40 to 50% open rate, which is already ridiculous, right? So once you get people onto Homebot and our seller alerts, these are really sticky people, right? And you're going to get a lot of activity from them. So pay close attention as the Realtor in Residences take you guys through how we do all of this. But the 3 major improvements we made so far, you know, is 1, we tag all of the leads that are set up in Homebot that have engaged, right? So you can now see a full list of all of those folks. We'll talk about that in a second. In the priority alerts about someone engaging with Homebot, we have added a direct link to the Homebot digest. You click one button and then you can see exactly what the consumer sees. And then finally, we have added improved dynamic and logic flow around seller listing alerts so that they get sent longer and more consistently, which is why you see the 65% open rate, right? So Gabe, please take people through how we can actually get them live on Homebot.
I agree. So, and this needs to be everybody, right? So how do we get all of our clients, our people? I think I had leads in there, and then I just visualized Livia yelling at me that I had leads in there, and I didn't say people or clients. So how do we get them all in there? There's a few different ways, right? And it does not have to be difficult, right? We know that, you know, some of us type like this. It's going to take all day long to get this done. Some of us are a little faster than others at getting these in. And some of us have an assistant that we can hire to do this. All right. But let's just mass upload them, guys. There's a faster, easier way to get everybody in Homebot. And I saw somebody, I think, put a message in YSC earlier, like, you know, I want to thin my database out before I do this, guys. Let's get them all in there. All right. Get everything in there. Let them start getting engaged and everything. So you're going to go to the URL ylopo.com/homebot. All right. Once you go there, you're going to see this link. Click to download the template. All right. You're going to have the CSV template. It's super easy. It only has 9 columns. All right. Hopefully you have all your past clients in some sort of export that you can either make or already in a CSV. Copy and paste these columns, first, last, email, etc. All right. Once you have this done, you're going to come right back to the exact same page. All right. And what we need to do now is just get our scroll on down. There's more to this page. All right. We're just going to fill in the information here, here, and here, 3 little fields, answer 2 questions here and here. The 5th one I do want to point out, some of you have huge databases. Get these in there, but after 500 leads, there is a charge for additional $25 per 500 leads that you import. All right, so I just want to make sure you guys see that. Once that's done, upload the CSV by choosing the file right here. Upload it, scroll on down. Now, some of you have teams. If you don't want the Homebot report coming from just one person, you can, this is an optional section where you can actually put in a team name or a different name, phone number, if you want it captured by like an inbox number or something like that. Please don't forget to hit submit. I've chatted with a couple people. We did this. We put everything in there, did not submit it. Don't forget to submit the form, all right? That's gonna get everybody in Homebot. The engagement starts to happen. And like G said, now you're gonna get notified, all right? You're gonna get notified via email, priority alert from Ylopo in your inbox, as well as this tag's gonna get put on there, Homebot engaged, all right? So you're now gonna be able to create a smart list or some sort of filter where you can constantly watch for these, look at them. And like G mentioned, there is a link in there. So when you're on that lead profile in your CRM, you can just click on it and view the report that they're looking at. So we can mass upload, but we also get these LSA leads that he's talking about, the seller leads, these one-offs that are coming in. If we generate a seller lead, we're automatically going to get it on a listing alert for you, all right? But a call in, right? Somebody that doesn't come through the Ylopo website that is not being generated, you need to create these seller alerts, and it's super easy, all right? Just go into stars on that lead profile. Right next to what you're normally using to create a listing alert, you're gonna see seller alert, all right? Just click the seller alert right next to you. It's gonna take you to this page. Literally all you need to do is put in a title. I like to put valuation for. I liked Barry's. Now I might change putting on here equity report or something for an address. I like that equity. But just fill in these couple fields, choose if you want it to be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, and hit create seller alert in the bottom corner. Once you do that, it's going to bring you right back into the stars lead profile. And you're going to now notice under the seller alerts tab that you have an active report. And in the listing alert history, you're also going to notice once it's sending out, and it's going to start telling you if they've clicked on it or opened it. I'll zoom in here a little bit for you so you guys can do it. But it's literally that easy, guys. Mass upload into the system, or the one-offs are just a few clicks and you've got them going. You can now see everything that's going on to get these seller alerts going automatically to all your leads. Once it's in, Barry, I think, is this you or G?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to give you another example of the seller alert, but we can skip ahead. Yeah. So, you know, go ahead. Next 3 slides is all. Yeah, go ahead, Raiya.
All right. So I've spent 4 months, written over 600 text, and then thousands upon thousands of versions of the way the conversation can flow. This is new. We took it, you know, an example of this would be, well, so we've changed the questions based on the way I teach the masterclass. You know, have you signed anything that requires you to work with only one agent now replaces, do you have an agent? And so this now is very specific. Instead of it just being some vague answer, instead of asking, have you been approved for a loan or cash payment, it's, do you have a friend or a family member in the mortgage industry? And you'll see people will answer this and then say, why are you asking? And then Raiya responds right away and says, oh, well, we just think it's wise to start early because this is right out of my scripts. When do you want to buy a home now is, if you were to map it out, dream with me, you know, when would the perfect purchase be? You can go to the next one. Raiya for sellers now asks things like, you know, the condition of your home impacts the value. With that being in mind, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate your condition? And based on the number the seller gives Raiya, Raiya is going to go down a different path. So if the condition's poor, she'll go down one path. If it's good, she'll go down another. This level of intuitiveness is new, and it's not going to stop. If they bring up credit, there's a path. If they bring up just looking, there's a path. She's going to pivot based on these different indications. She's a better listener. She's going to summarize at the end what she's understood the person to say. And I even included like an ear emoji and a crying face. See, I've been listening, you know, trying to have some personality. Instead of just having a vague statement at the end that says, we're going to give you a call, we actually ask, are nights or weekends better for assigned agent, whoever that is, to give you a call? We're trying to set that appointment now. The seller scripts have been dialed in to surface opportunity. You can go to the next one.
Barry, I wanted to share with you on that see, I'm listening piece.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lead respond, thank you so much for being such a great listener in that Raiya text. It was funny.
So good. So
yeah.
good. So this is an example. It says, we're happy to help. We're excited about helping you find a new home. House emoji. The next step is to get in touch with the agent on our team. Our nights or weekends better for a quick chat. You can go to the next one. I have you down for 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I think we can find a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. I just need a few more details. Do you happen to have a friend or a family member in the mortgage business or financial industry? I added the financial industry for all the rich towns in America, you know, that don't use mortgages. And then this is from Kirk. I appreciate him sharing. I don't know if we'd be able to see it, but he said he'd called and texted and never got a response. And then Raiya, you know, takes it, we don't have the time right now, but she says, I want to look at the villas, Lorraine Lakes, and Lakewood Ranch. And Raiya says, I've heard from other clients that they really like the Lorraine Lakes and Lakewood Ranch area. Okay, emoji. And what would you put as your ballpark for your price range? So this should crush it for all of us. It legitimately should just absolutely destroy it. So, so yeah, you can go to the next one, Gabe, and take it away.
So, well, yeah, and just real quick, you know, just a huge increase. We were just talking about this before we started seeing them, the replies to Raiya and what's going on. And I showed them like literally just the new questions you're asking. And I can't remember what we were talking about earlier, but it literally set an appointment for us yesterday. We were in office hours and I happened to just pull up the most recent Raiya reply and we looked at it and it literally just kept going after days of that new opportunity being in the system, literally set a call appointment for 1:30 in the afternoon for the agent. So great job,
cool.
Great job on these new scripts.
Yeah, we had one of my agents ask, wow, everyone is suddenly responding. I don't know what's in the water. Like, why are they all responding? And when I pulled it up, it's all the new texting. It just encourages a response. It's so conversational that what's interesting is, and remember again, not to segue too much, but remember guys, jump in and be Raiya if you have to, because they are really talking to Raiya. And so it might be a good idea to get in and start being Raiya to set up the appointment for yourself.
Yeah. How cool is it? I mean, just how cool is it that, because we never did this like in past companies where we have like actual amazing team leaders, our beloved and blessed realtors and residents who use this. They use your system, same system every day. And they're like, oh, okay, these Raiya scripts are okay, but they're not great. And let's make them better. And let's dig in, right? And that's it. We should, or the philosophy should always be, whether it's improving the home search, improving Raiya scripts, improving seller tools, to never be happy. If we're never content, then we will achieve, altogether, our community will achieve greatness.
Yeah, it's awesome too. I mean, it's just, and if you think about getting scripts that we know work, sometimes as a team lead, it's hard to, you know, constantly listen and make sure the agents are using them. And now, you know, Raiya is doing it all the time. Like we was training yesterday, I was training an agent yesterday on a call and somebody said that, you know, well, we're just not looking right now. And I, you know, and I kind of nudged her, we hit mute and I'm like, hey, just ask them if the perfect property came on, would they still go look? Right. Because they said the market was too crazy and they did it and it worked. And then I see Raiya this morning does the exact same thing, you know, scripts. I probably ripped off Barry at some point on that script anyway. But literally now Raiya is doing it when people are saying, no, the market's too crazy, asking the same thing. And they're like, yes, absolutely. If you find the right property, I would go look. So it's just incredible. Just incredible. I know we got to move on, but yeah, just huge kudos to Barry on what he did on that. All right, seller reports, how to use them. Is that Laura? Is that you?
I'll be happy to talk about it.
Wait, well, I thought it was yours regardless.
It's okay.
Go for it.
So some tools, we've been talking about all the cool new tools that G has been developing, and Howard and the Ylopo team and Barry. But I'm afraid that some of us have missed tools that we already have. And one of those tools is the seller report. And the seller report is in your mission control dashboard. Up underneath, right under your marketing numbers, there's a little black bar that says seller report. And when you use this, you're going to go in, let's say, you know, Gabe, you've called in through my LSA ad wanting to sell your house. And we've set an appointment. I'm going to come out and do my listing presentation. What the seller report does, I plug in your address, a price range, numbers of bed and bath. And then what Ylopo does, this report is so amazing. It goes into our CRM, into all the people we have in stars, and it creates a report that is the wow factor. I'm telling you, I just started in 2 new markets in October, brand new agents in brand new markets, and switched all my Ylopo marketing to these 2 markets. And we are going up against seasoned, well-known agents in these 2 markets, and we are winning the listings away from them using the seller report. It's a supplement to your listing presentation, and it highlights how your digital marketing, your real estate marketing differs from the average real estate agent. There are some sections in that seller report, but the page that Gabe has is pulled up is the big wow factor. One of the things that the seller report shows them, how many of you have been taught when you call FSBOs and expireds, telling you've got people in your database that are looking for a home like theirs? All agents use that line. Instead of using that line, I show them. The seller report shows my potential seller that not only am I telling you we have this many people in the database, here's their names. And it's so cute because I did one a month or so ago where the gentleman who was the owner of the property saw his own name in there, and he was like, done, you guys are hired. Because I said, did you go online and look for homes like yours online? And he said, yeah, I was checking out prices. And he happened to be on our website, and we captured him.
So you're saying we're not just telling them, obviously you're showing them. Now, are you printing this and taking this with you, making it part of your presentation?
Yes. Anytime we are going on a listing appointment, my agents send me the information I need. I send them back the PDF, and it goes into our listing presentation for the seller.
I mean, this is huge. I didn't actually know about this. I'll again, fall on the sword. I was guilty of not using this. And then you showed us in office hours, you and Levia, like how incredible this is. And I'm actually going to show you. So I don't see if you can see, but literally I've got one of our agents over here. We're updating our entire seller presentation book so we can incorporate the seller report. Like that's the big task today, is redoing it completely to be able to feature this on that. So I love that.
I'm going to just jump into, I have to say, when you're presenting this, guys, think about the power behind what you have. The way we present it is we work with the top marketing firm in real estate today, and we've asked them to scrub the sellers in your market, the buyers in your market, to see how many people are looking for a home like yours. I want to show you just against our database how many qualified people we have looking, and you show them this report, and then you get into the right messaging, meaning how are we going to advertise this? What is our marketing to pitch to these people? What are they looking for? You will get the listing every time with this report alone. Put it right into your branded report that you normally bring, or do it as a PDF and present it virtually.
And here's something we did too. We had an appointment with a seller, and she was trying to back out of the appointment. And my listing agent was like, what do I do? You know, and I said, take that seller report, and I want you to email it to her. And then we created a textable link using it and text it to her. And guess what?
That's awesome.
We got the listing. Now, she's not going to list. She's got some work to do, but we got the listing. And because we went ahead and sent the report, she was trying to cancel the appointment. I said, get this to her. This is going to get her done. And sure enough, we got the listing.
That's a nugget. That is a nugget move right there. That is awesome. Awesome. All right.
Well, I really like this this suggestion here about, you know, showing it on the iPad for some reason, getting a bigger impact than a printed. And it's true, right? Like you hand something printed and they're thinking, you know, they're thinking, you know, 2011, and the iPad, right? Show them that on the iPad, they're thinking 2021. And while you have the iPad open, right, just show them other stuff, right? Just geek out a little bit on all the other stuff you have, right? And just be like, look, you want a realtor of yesterday? Go for it. You want a realtor of tomorrow? I'm your real estate agent.
Already come up with a marketing strategy. Look right here. Yeah, it's amazing. With branding too, Gabe, I'm just going to jump in on this one.
Please. You guys are the experts.
So I am like obsessed with the way we're positioning ourselves in the marketplace. And I'll tell you, I've totally changed my approach with folks, especially with the way I look at Ylopo. I hear a lot of people talk about Ylopo as lead generating. That's not how I look at Ylopo. I look at Ylopo as a branding and marketing firm that is positioning me to dominate in my market. And so now that we're looking at it from the selling side, if you think about any marketing or advertising firm that's branding you, people are a byproduct. Customers are a byproduct of your marketing. So we don't want to discount. Yes, you're going to be getting leads. I like to call them people. You're going to be getting them coming in. But that's because of this incredible brand recognition that you're getting from Ylopo. So when you look at it from that vantage point, this is another super underutilized tool that I was guilty of not even tapping into until my account manager, our secret rock stars, guys, make sure you reach out to yours. He did an account audit for me and he looked at it and he said, you aren't running any of the branding. Like you've got to get in there with Homebot. If you go to your stars dashboard and then you're going to click on marketing, under the videos, you want to click on the remarketing tab. And under remarketing, you have an entire branding section. This is where you get to brand your logo, your company, and Homebot. There's seller experience. It is huge, and it's pennies on the dollar to run these. It's incredible, the exposure and the mind share. And a lot of folks have heard me talk about mind share, but I quickly went to Google and just said, what is mind share? And mind share is consumers' awareness, top of mind. You become the brand that is identified as that industry in their marketplace. So when you think about sellers are really tactile, right? They want to know someone that knows someone. They want to feel like they're getting the person that is the mover and the shaker in their market. What better way to do this than going after them with these subconscious ads that are just capturing mind share so that the sellers, when they hear your name, when they Google and you come up with your Google service ad, you're that same person they just saw on Facebook and social media. It is so powerful. It's amazing to me.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's the power of all of those coming in. Oops, sorry, hit a button there. Yeah, it's where they start all compounding, right? We're so obsessed a lot of times as agents and as teams to generate. But we don't realize, you know, now for pennies on the dollar, we can stay in front of them with that brand, with remarketing and everything. So it's something that we lose sight of, and it's more important, I think, even than just keep filling, because you have to convert them. If you're just constantly obsessed with filling, you're not converting, right? And that's where you start seeing really the sweet spot of what Ylopo is doing, because now they're seeing the brand. You've got Raiya hitting them. You've got the fresh ones coming in. It's all of it coming together. So I couldn't agree more.
Obviously, we have to walk the walk, right? We have to walk the walk of our clients, and we try to do that. I mean, how many of you out there were like, you know, you heard about Ylopo once, you didn't do anything, and then you heard about him again, and maybe you saw somebody on a webinar, and then somebody else mentioned us in a mastermind. You're like, oh, okay, I'll call this Ylopo company, right? You saw some cool shit, and you got excited, right? But it's jab, jab, right hook, jab, jab, right hook. And we really try to walk the walk on, we're a digital marketing company and we have to do digital marketing for ourselves too, right? Grow or die. And think about that example, guys, right? Where, buyers and sellers and they're, jab, jab, right hook, they're seeing you out there, saw this great video. And then they got, an email listing alert and, finally they're like, all right, Gabe, Gabe keeps coming up, or Olivia keeps coming up, Laura keeps coming up, Barry keeps coming up. And like, yeah, you're going to build that trust with those touches. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that, Livia, because Ylopo is not just about any one thing. It's how everything works in concert. But like when I look at the questions here and I see someone's like, where's the seller report? Like that's on us, that's on us because everybody in this audience should know exactly what the seller report is, how to generate it, how to use it. Everybody out here should know the name of their account manager, be able to access them. Because if they don't know something like that, they should have quickly be able to get them a message and how do I do this, right? And how should I use it? Again, I fear that 75% of our clients only use 25% of our tools. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're.
And also, as Livia brought up at the beginning of the call, guys, join office hours. 100%. Because that's where we can come in. I can share my screen. I can say, look, here's the seller report. Here's the listing alert. Here, and you get to ask your questions.
Yeah, there's a ton of questions there, guys, and we're down to about 6-7 minutes to stay within our 90-minute webinar. But a lot of these questions, we can't go super deep into every little thing. There's so many tools, so many offerings that we're doing for you. We want to highlight these. If you're having a list, we don't get to all of them, man, bring these to office hours, reach out to your account manager, because not only are we just telling you how to do it, we're showing you, we're getting in there, sharing screen in real accounts, not demo accounts, like saying this is what it might look like. We're literally showing you in our accounts. Like Livia and Laura have this so dialed in on the remarketing, the listing rockets and all that. I mean, it's crazy. They're literally sharing what they're doing. There was one question I do want to hit on, though. I thought it was a good question. And I don't know where it's at, but somebody said, hey, on the seller PPC 2.0, when they're coming in, how do we tell Raiya that it's a seller? We're already capturing that and turning that on for you. So if we generate that seller lead for you, you'll notice over there, there's a seller interest or seller, I can't remember the exact tag, but it's on there. Raiya is going to start hitting them with that scripting. But don't worry too. I know I've had some people like, well, this was a seller and a buyer question got asked. Don't forget, a lot of your sellers are also buying, or a lot of buyers or sellers start off as a buyer because they're more excited about looking at those pretty pictures of pretty homes before they start talking about the marketing and hiring of an agent. But it'll automatically get done with you on those leads that we're generating. So, all right, I'm gonna move on to the next one here, using tags.
Okay, guys, we talked a lot about new tools, generating seller leads, but I don't want you to miss the fact that you most likely already have sellers in your CRM. And they're coming from the buyer leads that Ylopo is generating. And so I just wanted to briefly go over 4 tags that will help you easily find potential seller leads coming in with your buyer leads. Homeowner trade up, homeowner trade down. Those are 2 segments that Ylopo is specifically targeting: homeowners who are looking to move and buy something bigger, or homeowners that are looking to move and buy something smaller. When they come into your database as a buyer lead, they have these tags. They're potential homeowners and sellers. The next 2 tags, I need to sell before I can buy, or need to sell before I can buy, are questions that are being answered by the lead themselves, the person themselves, in the registration form. So you've got buyer leads that are actually telling you they want to sell. And then you've got buyer leads coming in that Ylopo is specifically targeting for you, who are potential homeowners. So when you're going through and doing your smart list or filtering who you should call, I would highly recommend that you have these 4 tags saved up as smart list or lists or special filters. And then we just talked about all the really great tools you already have to market sellers. So when I find a buyer lead in my system that comes with one of these 4 tags, we locate their property address. We go into stars and set them up on the seller alerts. They'll get the Homebot report, the whole seller experience that G just shared with us. That is getting, what, 65% open rate? So you go in, put them on marketing towards the selling side. Ylopo's handling marketing to the buy side. You're going to start the marketing to the sell side. You want to make sure that you adjust your drip campaign to accommodate them as a potential seller. So we want to make sure our drip email campaigns are going out to honor the fact that they have a home to sell. And then any additional seller marketing that you do, we do mailers. So they get added to our mailing list. And that's basically, I don't want to dwell on this, I know we're running out of time, but don't miss out on the sellers that you currently have in your CRM. You've got some in there, I could almost guarantee it.
This is like a nugget of wealth here, because so Laura was just doing an office hours and I hadn't dialed in on this yet. And she said it and I was like, what? This is genius. I just always thought buyers, buyers, sellers, sellers. And when I realized, we dug in, we had over 200 people tagged with this. And then think full circle, guys, you got that seller link to Homebot, you can put them in. It's just like this limitless world they can live in where you can find out and satisfy whatever their needs are. It's awesome.
My two favorite tags in this set of 4 are the I need to sell and need to sell. That's a motivated seller. Barry mentioned earlier when he was on, nobody gets excited about selling their homes, but they're in my website looking at their new home. They're dreaming about where they want to be. That's leverage all day long when I need to motivate them to list.
Yeah, the big green box that Laura just shared is a money box, right? This is massive. This is a immediate actionable item that you can log off of this webinar and filter by those tags, export into a CSV, and then mass upload into Homebot if they're not in there, guys. And I mean, I literally got a text this morning from Tom, like, holy crap, Homebot has just like exploded this morning, all the inquiries. Like, this is money. They are in there, everybody. We see it every day on every Facebook group. I want more sellers, bestseller lead sources. You've got them in your database. We've given you the data. Just pull up and look for them.
You have that now. You could walk away. Oh, sorry, Howard.
That's okay. I've always used the stat, 50 to 60% of all buyer leads, of all buyers need to sell. And I love Karen here just chimed in to us. She heard a stat the other day, 64%, everyone write that down, 64% of buyers need to sell before they can buy. So guys, you're right at almost 2/3, not half. I love it, right? You're almost at 2/3 of your buyers. And think about it, right? Most of us, we know we need to sell before we can buy, right? We just can't just buy multiple homes, right? So just again, guys, can you reiterate, like, what are all the ways that you are finding out automatically or not, or manually, that these folks are in that camp? Can you guys repeat that?
Yeah, and there's a good question on one of them, right? She's just like, do we have to apply the tag if they're engaging? No, that is a new release that just happened. It's that Homebot engaged is going to get thrown on there. Plus, you're going to get a priority alert. And then another question to piggyback said, how do I see it? You don't have to go to stars. It's right there in your CRM. We're sending the notification, putting it in your CRM with one click, one link, or one click. It's going to link open to a new tab, and you're going to see the exact report that they're seeing. So we've automated it and made it as easy as possible for you guys. So it's all being done, notifying you of Homebot. And then, yeah, Laura, I think you were going to piggyback again on these tags.
Well, if I understood Howard's question correctly, it's going to depend on your CRM, but all CRMs have some level of filtration. Mm-hmm. With Follow Up Boss, it's my part of my smart list. So every time a new lead comes in with this tag, it's automatically dropping into the smart list. If you're in Lion Desk, it's your saved contact filters. Set it up so that whenever a new lead comes in with one of these tags, it's going to drop into that list for you. So you don't have to go looking for them. Once you set up and save that filtration, then you won't miss them. You'll see them coming in. Yeah. They'll automatically drop into that list.
Yeah, and I think every single one of the CRMs obviously has tags. So it's a quick, easy way to find them via the tag. And then there's additional throughout the different CRMs. So the gold's in there. You just literally have to look at it and then react. I think that the best thing about all this is how it's been set up. And I think that's our last slide, so I can stop sharing here. But the best thing about it is that you can now focus on the inbound, right? And I can't remember, one of you two lovely
Levia, say the quote you said yesterday.
Please say it.
So Jesse at Call Action has a way of saying it. I've kind of changed a little. I say you have to automate the outbound so you can personalize the inbound. So duplicate yourself for going out, but when they're coming in, you give them top level personal attention. That's at the very least how you give top level customer service.
Yeah, everything they've been working on is literally all is automation. So you're just focusing on that low hanging fruit. So I'm trying to go through to make sure we didn't miss any glaring questions that we need to get answered in here. Again, the link was in there. I'm sure we're going to post it in the replay in YSC as far as how to get signed up for Google PPC Seller Ads 2.0, the LSA. The one thing I want to add on LSA, I mean, there's a lot of people doing this, and I've had a few people who will reach out like, hey, well, I've started the process, but it's not moving along. Please, when you're doing this, watch your inbox as well. There are steps you have to take to fill out the forms, to do your background check and all that stuff. So we can move that as quickly as possible, but it does rely on working with you as the team leader, whoever's doing that. So please watch your inbox and make sure you're filling out that information. And the big one that keeps coming back is, why is Ylopo asking for this background check? It's Google that's doing that, Google screened, and you want that check mark next to your name. So please make sure that, that you're watching for those emails and getting that filled out and get that going as quickly as possible.
The background check takes time, so be patient. If you've submitted your background check, it's not going to be like a one-day process. I think it was 2 to 3 weeks for me, something like that. Or maybe I have a sketchy background and it took them longer. But it's not like McDonald's drive-through. They do a real background check.
Yep. Somebody said, just to be clear, the seller leads that we're generating are added to seller alert. Yes, they are going to be in there. That seller report, when you go into stars, you can see, just like when you look for your buyer listing alerts, there's another tab that says seller alerts. You can look at that and you can see the history that they're going out. And again, every time they're engaged, that notification is coming into your CRM and an email into your inbox from Ylopo to make sure that you're not missing it. So that is definitely.
I may have missed this, but when we have a lot of questions from like people that are out of state that are coming to their area, so obviously they need to sell out of state. Are you guys automatically saying, hey, I'm part of this incredible system, top notch, digital, forward thinking real estate agents, let me help you with that person, and then getting referral fee, hopefully from someone.
Oh yes, don't leave any money on the table. If you have the best network of realtors here, you've got the whole Ylopo success community.
Yes.
When you see that tag, they don't have to answer that they have a home they need to sell. So when they do, that is perfect time to get into the conversation and ask them. If it's out of state, say, you know what, I've got a top level network of realtors across the country. Let me pre-screen and find you someone in your area. And use this network to get them. It's a referral fee, guys.
All right, I'm going to do something crazy right now.
Oh gosh.
crazy off right now. If you go to the Ylopo Success community and you say, hey, I need a realtor in Boise, or I need a realtor in Champaign, Illinois, or I need a realtor in Cape Cod, or Laura, where are you? What part of Illinois?
Champaign, Decatur, Bloomington.
I got it right. Champaign, right? Decatur. I need a realtor, whatever. And you post that in the success community. I'm sending you Ylopo swag. Your favorite Ylopo swag. You're going to get a t-shirt. You're going to get whatever you want.
Right? People asking for swag too.
I want to see more of this community. I want to see more of these referrals. I want to see people encouraging people to ask those questions, right? Do you need to sell before you buy, before you come to our town? I've got someone great in your town who's going to help you. Awesome.
And don't get thrown off, guys. If you're working with somebody, especially that's relocating from out of state, again, they start on that buy process and they're looking at things. We had a report come in that was out of state. It took me a minute to put 2 and 2 together to realize, well, they're relocating here, looking at homes in the Idaho area. Then all of a sudden, this Homebot report valuation came in. I think it was Spokane. I don't know. It was out of area, and it took a minute to figure out what was going on. Well, now they're using the same tools in their area, and it's an easy layup to now get that referred over to an agent. So just really take a second to step back and just make sure that you're a master of the tools, or at least you're familiar with the tools to get it. And there's a ton of questions in here. Again, we keep saying office hours. We're not trying to put it off, but man, it is such a great way to come in, get it on your calendar. It's the same time every day,
and all
every
of
week.
March is going to be about sellers. So, I mean, this is like a deep dive. We recognize that we all need inventory and listings. And we also realize that there are crazy tools that are going to simplify your life that you already have from Ylopo. Yes. So come equipped with your questions, come with your confusion, and we will, if we don't know, I can guarantee there's someone in the group that does, or we're pinging account managers as we're doing it.
Yep. Hey, Rick, thanks for Idaho. You took Howard's advice. And I think that one just came in yesterday in Spokane. I don't think we've actually got it out yet. So we'll hit you up. Thanks for posting Spokane in Northern Idaho. All right, guys, we're over our time. We'll get this posted in the replay in YSC. Obviously, we can chime in more there. G, any parting thoughts that you want to make sure any takeaways?
So many here, but I'll again, PSA, ylopo.com/seller for PPC seller and ylopo.com/LSA for LSA. And if you have any questions about LSA, my team is just at lsa@ylopo.com. All of you guys here, been here for an hour and a half. Really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to sign up. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Get signed up, get in there. Somebody asked Ylopo Success Community ? That's our Facebook group. Get in there and make sure it happens. We'll have all the links for you guys in the replay when we post this in YSC. So you have all the links and everything that you need. So there we go. Awesome. Howard, you want to leave us any more just crazy or?
No, I mean, I'm just really appreciative of Ruby, who just chimed in that this was awesome. She thanks everyone. She loves Ylopo. She loves the community. She's really glad to be a part of it. And so that's really inspirational. That's what gets G and I up in the morning every day as the founders of Ylopo. I know that's what inspires you guys as the realtors in residence. As we always say, right, your success is our success. The only way we're successful as a company if you guys are successful. So Ruby just keeps piling it on, and she wants to get some swag here. Fearless leaders. I love that. But anyway, thanks to all you guys for this. Just you guys were all dropping such amazing pearls and bombs. Last thing, just question for the panel: when are we getting together in person? What's the predictions? We're gonna have a level of success on. What do you think? Let's go. So, Olivia, what's your prediction? What do you think?
I'm hoping for the end of 2021, but
end of 2021, the fall maybe.
Oh, I'm missing it. I want this in-person energy.
All right, Laura, what's your prediction?
I was hoping for summer, but I'll take fall.
Gabe's like ready to go next weekend. I know.
I'm ready to go now, but my prediction is going to be Halloween. We're going to have a big old Halloween party.
All right. We can't wait. But as soon as we get the all clear, I'm talking to the venues, and we're going to wire this thing up fast and get everybody together.
Awesome.
It's going to happen. It's going to be incredible. All right, guys. G, any final words?
Nope, that's it. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks,
bye. Thank you.
All right, take care, guys.